The Diplomatic Union of Independent States, also known as the Federated Union of Gallente Prime, was founded in AD 23,121, originally comprising French people. It is the faction that failed to get a single drifter wormhole in the drifter crisis, the faction on the losing end of its war against Calderi, and, recently, the faction who lost the Syndicate region to Calderi. Even the creative director of EVE Online had tasked the narrative designer to make Gallente cool, and the result is for all to see. Thus, in this video, I shall try to reimagine the Gallente Federation, an alternative storyline. As a background, in 22,463 AD, the Gallenteans spot the Calderi on Calderi Prime, but fail to establish contact. Both planets being located in the system of Luminaire, it is believed that the Calderi were in their industrial age, and Gallente was entering the spacefaring age. 54 years later, 22,517 AD marked first contact between the Calderi and the Gallenteans. Then, 71 years later, in 22,588 AD, the Gallenteans built their first Stargate. 233 years later, in 22,821 AD, Gallente built their first warp drive. And finally, in 23,121 AD, the Gallente Federation is founded. Now, the first thing is that the actions of the Gallente were extraordinarily controversial. Even the Intaki, who, again, were relatively pacifists, were super unhappy with what the Gallente were doing, while the Calderi were punished by blockade and orbital bombardment of their home world. When their megacorporations attempted to claim planets, there was a chunk of Intaki that went through the process of independence themselves. And thus we have the Intaki Syndicate, rejecting the warmongering ways of the Gallente Federation. Here we introduce our first change, in that, instead of blockading Calderi Prime, the Federation imposes a tax on the economic output of each new colony. That way, the Federation gets to avoid antagonizing another spacefaring faction right in its home star system. And the extra money received from the tax gets used to fund research into warp drives, weapons, and Stargate technologies, such that the technological dominance of the Federation is expanded. Thus, the Federation gets to own its current space along with what is now Calderi space. Another point is the introduction of the hydrostatic capsule technology by the Jovian civilization. The Jove gave that technology to the Calderi as they were outnumbered by the Gallente, and in this timeline, since there is no Gallente-Calderi war, the Jove won't give that technology to the Calderi. Instead, the Jove will be focused on helping the Mimitar faction via the Gallente in its fight against the enslaving Amar Empire. The Federation exploits this contact with the Jove to get some favors, either through official or unofficial channels, thus further improving their technology and potentially getting access to the hydrostatic capsule technology. While the Intaki Syndicate separated from the Federation due to the latter's unpleasant actions, sustained pragmatic behavior by the Federation government can yield a good relationship with the Syndicate region, allowing trade to at least further enrich the Federation. This, while being the faction with no near-pair rival, the Federation can focus to exploit the resources of null security space, while improving the life at its capital systems to the point that people from other factions yearn to move into the Federation. This shall create a soft power projecting into the Amar and Minmatar factions, along with the now expanded Navy and pirate enemy operating from the Venal region. The Federation will be a force to recon with, at least in the upper half of New Eden, with generous rewards to the Capsuleers. The issue of securing a drifter wormhole should not be an issue. Challenge will come from the Triglavians, the Deathless Circle, essentially from the Precursor War. While owning many star systems gives lots of money, it exposes the faction that much to emergent threats. The Gallente has to spend significantly more money to prevent critical systems from being taken by the Triglavians to create their Pakvan region. The Gallente also has to defend a larger number of systems against insurgencies, all the while defending against the Serpentis and Garistas. That being said, with a pragmatic leadership, the Mordu's Legion won't come into existence, as there won't be a reason for that group of citizens to defect to Calderi state. All in all, with pragmatic governance, the Gallente gets to match or surpass the Amar Empire in known star system count, be even richer with access to the Syndicate region, at the cost of the increased complexity of managing the Federation, as it will take exceptional talent to manage and hold on to such a large space with multiple threat vectors. The core worlds will be initially highly insulated from the border regions, and with lobbyists influencing the government, adequate importance to Federation security may not be given. Thus initially, the Federation, its citizens, and its corporations will get immensely rich from the relative peace. Then, as security threats pop up, the Hawk faction will clash with others. all the while fighting off pirates, incursions, insurgencies, Triglavians, and a possible Gallente, Amar war, as the Amar may start to view the Gallente as a threat with its growing might and good relations with its enemy the Minmatar. All this should result in various mission agents using capsular services to further their goals against entities within and outside the Federation, thus creating a more realistic Federation, with multiple self-interested groups, with upcoming serious emergent threats.